Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/JustNoMil. In today's episode, my MIL edited one of our wedding photos without permission. Tattoo chaos continues and our parents meeting for first time. She left me nothing when she died. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. My MIL edited one of our wedding photos without permission. My husband and I chose a wedding photographer who has a very cinematic aesthetic. We actually got excited about having a wedding at all because his images were so beautiful. His aesthetic is dark, a little moody, and beautiful. We told our family members how much we loved his style a number of times. Today my MIL texted me and said she had her sister Photoshop one of our wedding photos to be lighter, and she also had her remove a beautiful twisted pathway that is behind us on the mountainside. She also added, "Hope you don't mind." She sent the edited image, which is extremely blown out, objectively so, not just merely lighter. I wasn't sure how to feel or what to say. My husband said he doesn't care if she uses this new edited photo as her desktop image, for example, but he would not be happy if she decided to display it. I tend to agree. I ended up replying that we love the photo she chose and that I will ask her son what he thinks of the new edited photo. He plans to talk to her about it later. Was this a good way to handle it? Would you be upset if your MIL edited your wedding photos? Former photographer here. Well, current too, but now a passion, not a paycheck. I assume you signed a contract with the photographer before the shoot. Might want to go through that and make sure that there's no clauses about re-edits and their display/online sharing. Would hate for your photographer to be annoyed, seeing as you seem to really like them. It also gives you an easy out. Hey Mil, I know you really liked the edit you guys did, but I signed a contract that means that you can't display our post that anywhere online or printed, or we could be liable, blah blah blah. This entirely absolutely fine for her phone/laptop screen, but not for public consumption. Part of the contract I signed with my photographer was that we didn't edit the final pictures we received from her. That way we couldn't make a terrible edit that someone might think she'd done. My only thought is to double check that's not the case with your photographer. I'd nod, roll my eyes and move on. For you, it's dark, moody and beautiful. For her it's too dark and a little gloomy. I'd be upset if she edited me or a family member, or cut people out completely, but essentially she just likes it lighter. You handled it well. Let your husband talk to her about it. She'd want to be careful editing a photographer's work without permission. Copyright laws won't be on her side. Personally, I would make my distaste known, but in a way that throws it back on her. Like, well, to be honest, it looks way too washed out/saturated/whatever to me. And obviously the photographer has legal terms about editing their imagery, so I don't think they'll be happy about it. But if you like it, it's up to you. It is a real crap move on her part. I insulting your wedding in taste and having someone else alter your wedding to my taste. You will now tell me that you love it. You handled it wonderfully. She offered to have her sister Photoshop the rest of our photos too, uneasy face. I think DH's attitude is perfect. If she wants it as a desktop wallpaper, so what? But if she wants to display your wedding photo, she needs to display the actual photo and not her reinterpretation of it. She said she planned to hang it on a wall. Hopefully she refrains as her son requested her to, but if she wants to go against our wishes, it's her choice at the end of the day. Why would you tell her you loved it if you didn't? I'd be upset if she thought to edit something you purposely wanted to look a certain way, and then offered to do your whole bloody album. A Similar situation happened to me in which we had family photos done and heard back they were too dark. They're supposed to be darker. That's her style. I'd have told her immediately that if she wants that version for herself, that's fine, but you love what you paid for. I told her we love the photo our photographer took. I didn't say I love her edited photo. Sorry, that was unclear. Also sorry to hear that, not sure what's up with people and their lack of boundaries sometimes. My husband called her and let her know we paid a lot of money to have the style that we got and that while we cannot stop her from altering our images, we don't appreciate it. Tattoo chaos continues and our parents meeting for first time. So, my appointment is in like 2 hours and my mom just messaged me that she's coming to visit, which is a huge deal in itself as they're hesitant about her for being a now redeem addict and now she works at the same rehab she graduated from just over a year ago. She wants to meet my in-laws while she's here since she lives 2 hours away, so it's rare to see her and she's the only parent I have and love her dearly and am super proud of her. My MIL is still livid about my tattoo and has been trying to intervene but has failed so far. I'm worried she's going to make a scene when she sees the tattoo the first time and in front of my mom. Though my mom is also religious, she is super supportive and can't wait to see it. I'm really trying to avoid conflict, but I can't miss this rare opportunity to introduce them before the wedding and my fiancé is so excited to introduce them. I'm kinda panicking now. I don't want MIL making snide backhanded comments about me or my mom, and it feels like a lot to handle in one day. Simple. Give your mom a heads up that future MIL is a tight ass up in your business and move on. If she makes a fool of herself, that's on her. You can only control your reaction. Seriously, you're an adult, right? I mean, you're deciding on permanent body alterations, you're committing yourself to marriage. These are adult decisions. As my mom would say, tit up and deal with it. It's one of those, sorry you feel that way. Anywho, anyone want some coffee? Next comment, yes, as you've said. Did you all hear that the Little League player that fell out of a bunk bed is walking now? If she does it again, that's nice. So, Mom, I was thinking of lilies for my bouquet. Just move on. She'll get the hint or make a fool of herself. Again, you absolutely cannot control her reactions and behaviors. I don't think putting this off will do much good, unless you and your fiancé are considering low/no contact for your MIL, which doesn't sound like the case. Speak to your fiancé beforehand about not leaving your mothers alone together, or him leaving either of you alone with his mother. Really, if MIL knows your mother struggled with addictions, it's very possible she will make snide comments to her face, depending on how JN she is. But if she's a bully, she'll probably target your mother, bonus points that it harms you. It definitely seems like a lot to handle. Maybe just see Mil once at a restaurant with your mom, and you're so, that's perfectly normal for a meeting of the parents. Mil making a scene about a tattoo at a restaurant? That's embarrassing for her. The restaurant also limits alone time for her to speak harmfully to either of you. Some lines you could shut her down with. Please stop taking about my body isn't your business, I don't share your beliefs about tattoos, the way I style my body is not your concern. I am very tattooed. I'm also a professional, in executive management, a mom, stepmom, none has anything to do with the other. I've had plenty of snide comments from people in my life, you simply give no power to them. If your MIL says something snide in front of your mother, you roll your eyes and say something along the lines, MIL is having a little trouble adjusting. She apparently thinks this means I've gone to the dark side. Then you change the subject. Note that I don't equate it to anything serious. Because it has nothing to do with anything serious, it has no bearing on your role as a wife, parent, professional, person. She does not care for any reason or meaning behind why you got a tattoo, so you cannot argue from that angle. Indifference is your weapon. Your MIL is gunning for a reaction. Do not give her one. If she brings it up again or throws a fit, then let her look ridiculous. Yes, MIL, we all know what you think of it, it's probably best you don't get one then. What shall we do for dinner? Just continue to unemotionally redirect and let her dig her own grave in this. OP, I would make it perfectly clear to you so that he needs to keep his mom in check and you won't be allowing her to badmouth you in front of your mother. I would decide on some harsh consequences if she acts up. Like others said, MIL may behave herself in front of others. As for the rest, you can't control other people's actions, but you sure as hell can control the consequences for those actions. You got this. My JNMIL is a real judgy Judy, and that was before I started getting tattoos. Some people really seem to think your body is their personal business. It isn't. Tell your so that if JNMIL gets out of line, you and your mom are gonna have a lovely time somewhere else. Have a fun visit with your mom. She sounds cool. This is the way. Let them meet. Comments about your tattoos will only make the one speaking such nonsense look ignorant. Let her make a fool of herself and don't stress about it. She left me nothing when she died. For the better part of a decade, my wife and I financially supported my mom to the tune of $1,000 a month. She refused to consider getting a roommate, cutting back other costs, moving back to her low COL home state, or literally anything else that wasn't moving in with us, not happening. She was not wealthy. She did not have a lot. She kept some possessions and, when she was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer, she gave almost everything away. I visited her several weeks before she died. I've written about how infuriating that visit was in a different post, but something I did not comment on, because it didn't bother me that much at the time, was that she didn't leave me anything. She gave my wife a necklace. She gave lots of people in the family something small. But she apologized to me and told me she didn't have anything to leave me. She's been dead over 18 months now, but that has been pissing me off more and more lately because of how emblematic it was of her personality. I'm sure she didn't mean to be hurtful and simply thought that she didn't have anything I'd want. I'm equally sure she never considered that maybe her son would have wanted something of hers. Just like I'm sure she never considered how hurtful it would be that, after all the effort and sacrifice I made for her, after all the promises and, I believe truthful, desire that she wanted to pay me back, she couldn't find something to give me. No ring that she knew I loved playing with as a child. No memory or keepsake. Not even spending a couple dollars on something specifically for me. Just a complete lack of care, effort, thought, and consideration for how her actions impacted others. It's a little thing, but it's just like a final, unintentional, F*CKU, to cap off her lack of care for how her actions make others feel when she depended on those same people. I feel you in full. When my dad's last wife died, I was basically voluntold to live with him, or go homeless. Homelessness would have been a better option, and he kept saying that he had life insurance that named me and his other children as siblings. He kept saying the information was in his paperwork and that when the time was right he would give me the information. Considering he had a safe, one of those safety deposit-sized things with a key, with paperwork in it that was kept in his room, I figured it was in there and did my best to keep my distance to the best of my ability. As he got closer to his death he kept wanting me to rack up unbelievable debt, all because you'll have life insurance money to pay it off. He turned very suddenly, and when he died, going through the paperwork yielded one very traumatic surprise. When I opened the safe there was life insurance paperwork in there, all right, that was cashed out and cancelled 15 years earlier. While it made a few things about his life make more sense, I was left with nothing but debt that I lost over a decade life on because I couldn't pay it back. Considering his verbal, physical, emotional and financial abuse, it was his final FU to his children, and if the day ever comes I have children, the first thing I intend to do is make sure I never make those same errors. I feel that pain to this day. Without my income during his last years, he would have been in a home. I still regret not living my life to the best of my ability. I think I understand where your feelings come from. And I think they're valid. I lost my mother almost 2 years ago. At the end her doc thought she might have about 6 months. It ended up to be 3. I know there were things she wanted to do and things she wanted to talk about with me and the rest of the family, but we ran out of time. Mom did reasonably well until the last 2 to 3 weeks, but then in those last weeks her strength and emotional state took a nosedive, and by then it was too late for her to handle things she may have left for the end. Maybe that happened to your mother too. I sincerely hope that you have some good memories of better times with your mom. It's unfortunate that she got rid of so many of her things in advance of her death. Perhaps though, she intended that to be a gift so that you wouldn't have to do it for her. I haven't had a parent pass away yet, but TBH, what you're feeling sounds perfectly natural. Society puts a lot of pressure and meaning on people leaving things to their loved ones when they die, so it's completely reasonable to have mixed feelings about not getting something from her. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.